electricity better than non-ionized air. So that ionized air starts to rise, and it pulls that area of conductivity with it. So that's what you're seeing, is little puffs of air rising. Now what I'll do here, you guys know, you've heard of AC and DC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know, did I mention this before? AC and DC, what they stand for? I did, yeah, alternating current, direct current. Yes, Catherine?
I've heard of Frankenweenie when Victor had used his electricity to bring his dead dog back to life, just like in the story of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It was a prank, though? Someone
No.
brought their dead dog to life?
It was electricity.
No, it's a movie.
Just like in Frankenstein.
Oh, in Frankenstein. Yeah, well, in reality, you can't really bring dead people back, or dogs, you know. The buzzing you hear, though, is this alternating current. The current's going forward and back between these two. They're actually 60 sparks a second that you're seeing. So what I'll do is I'm going to run this piece of paper through it here.
You're going to catch it on fire.
Yeah, I just caught it on fire there, yeah. And I'll tear that off. Who's this for?
You
Oh,
better-
Shelby Brown. Oh, sorry, Shelby, I forgot to give this to you. Anyway, I'll run another one through it.
You really shouldn't do that.
There we go.
You really shouldn't do that.
That's okay. As long as I don't burn the school down, I'll be all right. Okay, let me get.
I'm ready for the lab, Mr. Janus, from yesterday.
Okay. And let me do one more. Now you'll see, if you hold this up to the light, you'll see that you can pass these around here. You can hold it up to the light and you'll see there are holes punched in the paper where each spark went through. It burned a hole in there.
I could still smell smoke.
You can, yeah, you'll be able to smell it for a little while. So it's kind of cool. It shows you that the electricity is going back and forth 60 times a second because it punches 60 holes in the paper every second if you run it through there. So it's kind of cool to do. While I'm showing you that, I'll get out the big Tesla coil too. Why not? Let me see if I've got it here. Now, if this will kill you, my big Tesla coil will really kill you. It'll kill you even more than that will. So, if there are degrees of being dead, you'll be more dead with the Tesla coil. Let me go grab it. I keep it locked up because it's a little more dangerous. Let's see here. Oh, I need to put this on the cart. All right. Put this over here. See, it's not plugged in, so don't worry yet. Okay, I will unplug this. Okay. And discharge it just in case. Okay. This is a big transformer. This came out of old neon sign. And the old neon signs required these big transformers to operate. And you find them. It's very heavy. This thing's filled with coils and iron coils with copper wire wrapped around them. And that's what's inside here. So it weighs like a brick. Probably even more than a brick. So, the Tesla coil here. Let me steal a light bulb out of somewhere. Then show you. All right. Now, obviously, the Tesla coil was invented by guess who? Nikola Tesla. Yeah. And what this can do is it can transmit electricity through the air the same way that we transmit radio waves through the air. And Tesla had a dream that we'd build giant ones of these, giant Tesla coils, and we'd set them up around the country, and they would transmit electricity. And you could put an antenna on your car, and that antenna would receive the electricity through the air, and you'd have an electric car. And he dreamed of electric airplanes flying through the sky, electric boats going from New York to Paris, or Paris isn't on the coast, England. And he tried to get this thing to work, but unfortunately it was incredibly dangerous and very, very loud. And not only that, you'd need one of these like every 10 miles across the entire country to get it to actually work. But it was a cool idea. And so I'll show you, when I plug it in, I'll show you that if I hold on to this right here, that it will light up if I'm fairly close to the Tesla coil. And the electricity will go through the air, right through the bulb, through me, into the ground. So, so before I plug it in, I would like you, everybody sitting in these tables, I want you all behind these tables here, okay? So Catherine, can you move too for me, please? Just move back behind this table for a minute when I plug that in, okay? Just stand back over here, okay? Thank you, okay. And if you guys can close those blinds too, it'll look better to start. Okay, so let me shut this thing off too. All right, cool. Okay, let me plug this in. And here it goes. Ready? If this thing was 100 feet tall, how loud it would be. And that's what Tesla dreamed of doing.
It sounded like a razor.
He actually was almost complete building a 100-foot tall one in New Jersey for a test. And he ran out of money and never finished it. It was about 3/4 of the way done, and he ran out of money. And then they realized that, hey, it's a lot better to wire the country with electric wires rather than these things. So
It sounded like a razor buzzer.
sounds loud, doesn't it? Yeah. Do you guys smell kind of a sweet smell in the air too?
Yes.
Did you notice that smell?
I don't smell it.
Smells like
don't smell
a
it?
fresh.
Smells like burn.
Like a fresh dry.
Smells like burning.
Smells like a fresh sheet for a dryer.
Oh, yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah, it's got kind of a sweet scent to it. That's ozone gas, and it's very poisonous. So don't breathe it, you guys.
What?
Yeah, it really is ozone gas. And there's not enough of it in this room to hurt anybody right now, but if you run it too long, you need to have the room really well ventilated. Ozone is really good for us when it's high in the atmosphere because it blocks ultraviolet radiation. But when ozone is near the ground, it's very, very caustic. And in caustic, what it means is it attacks certain other materials, and mostly rubber and plastic. And if you've ever had an old bike tire, or you look at rubber seals around car windows and they start to crack, that cracking is due to ozone gas. Ozone attacks the rubber and eats it and causes it to crack. So they talk about, ozone levels. They'll say, oh, we're going to have high ozone levels today. They're talking about on the ground. If it's a hot summer day and the wind's not blowing, ozone is created from really hot discharges of electricity. And you can see that was a purple spark, right?
Oh, what would happen if you were like touched that all
Oh, it would kill you.
You would really?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. That is, remember yesterday, the little one I was zapping you guys with, it shot sparks about that far?
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, this is the same thing, only much bigger. It's basically the same thing, but, so this spark is what, about 20 times longer than the spark from the other one?
Yeah.
So it's 20 times more electricity it takes to do that, yeah, so that little needle you felt poking you when I hit you with that other thing, this one would just nail you, yeah. So yeah, don't mess around with this. I keep this one locked up in the back room, so that no one can mess with it. I built one of my own years ago, and the thing hit me on the shoulder while I was playing around with it. It came out and hit me on the side here, got too close to it. And I was standing right there where Balthazar is, and I was trying to get the thing to spark onto that air vent up there. And all I remember is I got close to it, I felt it hit me, and the next thing I knew, I was laying on the ground over here. And it was after school, and I just thought, you know what, Janus, you idiot. If it would have hit me in the head or the heart, they'd have found me the next morning laying dead in my classroom. So I dismantled it. So I'm not going to mess with these things anymore. And I bought this from a guy who builds them professionally, not like the crappy one that I built that didn't work very well. So anyway, so yeah, I got hit by one of these, and it literally knocked me over. I mean, it knocked me right on the ground. It was. So I don't mess with high voltage electricity anymore. I just, I don't try to build my own contraptions. It's not worth it. It's too dangerous, and you make one little mistake and you're dead. So anyways, all right, there's a Tesla coil. All right, so one more, oh, look out, sorry about this, one more movie if you guys are up for it. Let's
Bye.
watch the old